Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Friday afternoon / evening Zoom edition, and Bitcoin and Ethereum have gone mostly sideways this week. 52K appears to be Bitcoin's resistance. 3,000 is Ethereum's. Let's go to the charts. Okay, should be seeing my, actually, I have not turned on my video, have I? I got this cool background, rocking some Ethereum. So let's try that again. I'll share my screen and we'll go to the Bitcoin chart. You guys seeing my Bitcoin chart okay?
Yes.
All right. And so here we are, 52 multiple times breaking above it, but not closing there. Since Thursday of last week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight days, eight straight days of breaking above it, but not closing there. We did have one close above it on Thursday, but didn't hold. So, and right now we're dipping below 51. Will 50K hold over the weekend? That is the question. Ethereum has done well. Nice pump here since late January. Broke 3K, closed above it on Tuesday, the 20th, but couldn't hold it. And as you can see, we're in the low 29s now. So there's some more buzz about the Ethereum ETF. Coinbase sent a very self-serving letter to the SEC to ask for their approval, since they're probably going to be the custodian for some of the ETF providers. Very curious to see if that's going to go through. There was some talk about it on the CryptNation group on Thursday, and I think Bryce says 60 to 80% chance it would go through in May. So we'll see what happens. If we get the flurry of activity for Ethereum that we got for Bitcoin late last year, early this year, then that could be advantageous to us all. We still don't have a whole lot of retail in the space. So that when people FOMO in, I think if we hold 50K for a while, we might get some more FOMO retail people pushing things up. So we will see. Any questions or comments about the markets overall before we look for some trades? Okay, Craig's here. Hello, CPW.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. Good to have you aboard.
Cheers.
Okay. Let's go to Altcoin Alert then. Okay, I'm on the altcoin radar setting. I want all the information. I prefer that over the dashboard, which is, kind of a summary. So I'm going to reload and we'll go to the AA scores to see if we can find something. Actually, I wanted to look at something else first. Let's look at the Slack group. And there was an interesting alert. So you should be seeing Woo. This is 115. Got some good statistics here. 24 hours, 5.43% average. 48 hours, 8.16. 72 hours, almost 10. So with that in mind, I've set an alert on a longer time frame layout. Go ahead and look at that first. And this is my swing trading layout. I've been using this the last month or so with you guys. I'm using the super trend for indicators to let me know when something's ready, and then I'll evaluate it against what I see on the charts with the supply and demand visible range, which I use for support and resistance. And then I might look at Annie's ribbon as well to see if it's moving. So I've set an alert on this. I did this morning. It's in a sell right now. I want this to, turn around, come back, which that probably will happen around here. And then that gives me probably 6 to 7% up to the red zone. So that would be my exit. Now, if this plummets over the weekend down to here, then I would have more room and probably a bigger move and stay in it for a couple days, and that would be my swing trade based on that alert on the Slack group through Altcoin Alert. So I thought I'd give you a heads up on that one. My usual analysis using Altcoin Alert is to look at the AA score, and I've got Dent at 83.5. I have not looked at Dent in a long time. It's an older project, but I'm going to look at this right now and show you what not to do, because this one is a real stinker. This is the RTI, the relative trend index, my favorite indicator for day trading and some swing trading as well. And what I like to do on dips and retraces is have something dip below the 20 and come back. And I'm going to show you that this one's terrible. See, it breaks below the 20 and then back up here, fake out. Here, fake out. Here, fake out. That means it doesn't go any farther. It just goes above and then drops again. Here's another fake out. Here's another. You get the idea. There's 8 fake outs in a row. I've never seen anything like it. So when it's really putzing around the 20, not doing anything, that's really frustrating because your alerts keep going off, and then there's just no follow through at all. So this is one I would pass on. With that in mind, let's see if we can find one. Actually, there was one that looked better than this. And it was Kava. Yeah, here it is, number 3, 79.0. I'm usually looking for values 80 and higher, but I'll fudge a little, get down to 79, 78. And this one, again, a quick review. AA is telling us this has a 79% chance to go up 3%, 3 to 5% in the next 48 to 72 hours. Might make that a little bit longer since we're coming up on the weekend. And so let's check out Kava. This is another, it's not an old project like Dent or Ethereum or one of those, but Kava's been around for a few years. I remember trading this one with some frequency when I first started day trading in late 19, early 20. So I got a little soft spot in my heart for it. Don't get emotional over crypto though. Okay, let's start from the beginning on this one. We'll take a quick look at the 5 minutes, see if we're in a dip sequence. And it looks like we're potentially starting one. We've got a little squeeze here and that's bubbling out, but we've only got like one dip at the moment. So not a great, I mean, it's going to take a while for this one to play out if it isn't a dip sequence. If you don't want to deal with the indicator alerts that I like to talk about, you can set a price alert, maybe down here in the green zone. Can't go wrong with support and resistance. 0.761, right click, add an alert, and call it what you want. AA score purchase is what I would do, and set your notifications up however you like. But as you know, I prefer indicator alerts on the 15-minute, preferably the RTI, and this is having great success with the dips below the 20 if you're looking to get 1 to 2%. So if I go to my vertical line, we get a dip below here, across right about here, and we get a nice move up. Yeah, 1.4%. I have moved my goals. I've talked for the past year or so about getting 1%. I'm now looking for 1.3%, still at 10x leverage. And so that's a 13% move for me. And I like piling those up. If I get 4 or 5 of those a day, I'm happy. If you're still trading on spot, that's great. You might want to go for a little bit bigger move than a 1.3%, maybe all the way up here to the red zone, which in this circumstance is 2%, maybe 2 to 5% on your day trades would be a better goal depending on what the charts are showing you. Here, the bottom of the red zone is 2%. The actual resistance here is about 2.5. Then you've got a wick here up to about 4%. So I'd say your goal would be between 2 and 4% on Kava. But you can see it broke down and came back up there. Slight fake out here, but we get another break, and then we get this nice move up here. Then another one, and then the same move. You would have benefited from, you know, multiple moves. Here's another dip below and another break back up and another big move. So this is exactly what we're looking for the price movement that we want for our day trades. I say our, but mine. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now, those are dips and retraces. If you're looking for more of a trend-based approach, I've been using the break above the 50 and the break below the 50 on my trend base, and I like to match that up with the cumulative delta indicator. So let's find a good example. On this one here, it broke below the 50, and there's some indication here. You might want to go to a smaller time frame, like the 5-minute. Yeah, you see it, you get a better, if you go to the 5-minute, a lower time frame, you get better confirmation on the cumulative delta. And you do have the break below the 50 on the 15-minute chart. So of course it's easy to say, yeah, I would have taken that one because I know what it did. It did this. It got my breakdown. Maybe I don't get out on this though. It's only 1.3%. So I might have to stay stuck in that one for a while, maybe get a ladder buy or two, and then get out right around here. But if you're just going for 1%, then you would have gotten out of that one in profit. On the long side, you know, get the break above 50 here just before this big move. So the break above 50 is here. Not really confirmed though. But it happens right about the time when, no, that's just not confirmed. So I probably wouldn't have taken that one. Would have missed it. We did, but we're redeemed here. We get a break above the 50. Good confirmation. And probably catch this move here at 1.5%. So that would have been pretty good. Now, if you're looking for bigger moves, and that's a reasonable approach, more of a swing trade approach, you can use this setup on longer time frames, but I prefer a different layout, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Any questions on Kava as a day trade before we look at some others? Okay, so we've looked at Kava and Dent, AA scores. I've been using social activity sorts more lately. And then the other one I like is a short-term sentiment, but I haven't had as many matches in the short-term sentiment as I would like for coins that I like to trade. However, I say that now, and we get them from Curve and Cody. So sentiment is what people are talking about online. I'm going to match that with the Elder Impulse hourly. And if they're both bullish, that's something I want to look at. You could look at that as a spot trade or a leverage trade. If you're trading on leverage, you can flip this and look for something bearish as well. I set up most of my alerts going both directions. So let's see. Synthetics is one I had an alert on this morning. EOS is an older project. Let's look at SNX. So we are short-term sentiment. Quick look at the 5. Does look like we're getting into some dip trades. get this the squeeze here, and then it's bubbling out. But right now we just have a single dip. Again, you could set a price alert down here in the green zone, see if it comes down that low, and that could be a good entry. On the 15-minute chart, it just stopped at the 50. If it broke below, that could be a short. If it does something like this, where it breaks below the 20 and then breaks back up. There were a couple fake outs on this. It was here and here, and then eventually did catch this big move up and did really well. So I like this setting alert on the 20. And then it also did well on the 80. This one broke below the 80 and was eventually profitable, down to this level. Then we have another one up here that broke here, and then obviously this move down is really good as well. So I'm liking S and X to trade both directions, and how you set that alert up. We're going to enter a channel on the 80 and the 20. Once per bar close is short-term sentiment. And there you go. So that alert will trigger if it breaks below the 20 and comes back, or breaks above the 80 and comes back. Now, if you're trading spot, your alert's going to look a little different. You just want it to cross up on the 20. And call it what you want. You could also set this up for the 50 or the 80, or points in between, whatever looks good on the RTI chart. So, but I set up a trend-based alert to break above the 50 and to break below the 50. And I also set up the one I just showed you, the 80-20, for entering a channel. That way I've got a trend alert and a dip and a retrace alert. Any questions on SNX? Okay, let's look at a spot / swing trade. We'll use the long-term sentiment as our sort. We're going to match this up with the Elder Impulse. And we've got a few candidates here. Uniswap made a huge move today. This one might be played out, but there was some news about Uniswap token holders getting rewards back. So that's cool. You guys might want to check out Uniswap and its token for more of a long-term hold. But let's look at that. I looked at it this morning. I didn't really like it as in the way I usually trade. But you see, get a parabolic move like this, and then I looked at the history of this thing. It's got some room to move back to where it was. So this has been as high as $44, but it's been trading in the single digits since since about almost 2 years ago. So could it return? Maybe. But for now, looking for something, 10% move on a chart. That's what I'm usually looking for in my swing trading. I could put what I would usually do is something like this that's blown up, is I'll just set alert on a buy, even though it's on a buy now, because I want it to retrace, turn into a sell, and then come back up and then turn to a buy again. And most of the time it does that, I'm going to get a better buy entry than where it is now. Like it'll dip down here and then come back up. So that's easy. Right click on the super trend on this layout, super trend buy once, and that was long-term sentiment. And I usually use a different sound. I use handbell for most of my swing trade alerts. So I'm going to leave that one on. And if it does, let's say trigger around here somewhere, it's 16% to, 27%. And that's a great day trade either on leverage or spot. So I think uni looks interesting. It could dip over the weekend, which would allow for a better entry. It could also dip and then just keep dipping. So if you're going to trade this one, it's kind of volatile. I'd probably go in at a third to a half of my usual amount and then set some aside for additional purchases to get a better overall position if it goes against me. Okay, let's see. Got a chat question. Okay, Eve is asking about Near Protocol. I do have a position in Near, and we'll look at Near as a potential swing trade. All right, similar situation. If I was going to get into this on the long side, I'd set an alert on the sell. I mean, on the super trend, and the alert would be buy. Call it Eve's suggestion, and click create, and that would be my alert. So if it dips and then shows signs of a recovery, then the buy signal will trigger. And let's say if that happens around here, the profit to the red zone is between 5 and 8%. So that's a pretty good swing trade if you're in it for a couple days. That's on the 1 hour, so it has room. Go back to 360. On the day, it's been up to 460 as recently as late December. Overall, it's been way up here, $20. So this sort of intermediate approach at 550 could be something to buy and hold for a longer term swing trade. One fun thing about this bull market is I've got to go back. I think I said this on Monday, to the day and the week charts to find prior resistance points. Any questions on near? Okay, we're zipping along. Let's see. So that was long-term sentiment sort. Another chat question. You're welcome, Eve. Let's look for a short. We'll go with short-term sentiment as our sort. We're just looking for something to short, maybe 3 to 5% over the weekend. And we're going to match it up with the Elder Impulse hourly. If you're going to short something, you should be, experienced in leverage trading, and you may want to use a stop loss as opposed to ladder buying. That made a big move earlier in the week. It's bearish now. Bitcoin Cash, Chili's. I trade Chili's quite a bit. Yeah, so I'd probably go with either Chili's, Bitcoin Cash, or FET. So let's look at FET. Okay. On the 5-minute, instead of a dip sequence, I'm looking for something like this, a pump sequence. Goes 1, 2, and there's multiple. That's not a good example. Let's go to my 15-minute with the RTI. Yeah, this is much better. So this looks really good because each break above the 80 and a dip leads to a profitable trade. Here's this move here, 4%, love that. There's this dip here. little bit of a fake out. I don't know, that might have been a stop loss there. This one looks better. Get this move, down here, 5%. Then you pick it up where it breaks above here. If you're trading both directions, which I probably would be, I'd catch this move up and catch this move down. Yeah, that's good stuff to me. And it's poised to come up again. So I like Fed as something to trade both directions. Really good entries on both ways. So good stuff there. I looked at this as a short, but this is about to break above the 20. So it could be a good entry on a long. Okay. Any questions on FET? Went through that pretty quickly. Okay, let's look at maybe one more swing trade. Let's go to that layout. We were looking at near earlier. Let's look at long-term sentiment. We could go a short. Yeah, we could go a short on the long-term sentiment. I'm not seeing one that I know. Yeah, don't really have one. So we could go both directions on the swing trade layout. CRV, Rune's been pretty good. I've been trading that off and on lately. I had a really good swing trade in this. I just got out of I think it was early this week or late last week. Yeah, you see it's a big fat red zone. Look at that, almost 5% on a 15-minute chart. Let's look at this at the hour. The super trend's been off on this one. So maybe you take the support and resistance into effect a little bit more. I mean, if you get a sell here, you're not going to sell at support, but you would take these buy entries because you're at, you want to buy at support and sell at resistance. You want to sell up here, and maybe this one here, but this one's getting too close to the support range. So on this one, if you want to trade both directions using this layout, swing layout, I'm on the hour chart. See if the 30 is any better. So you probably want to go a 31 hour or something else that's longer. You can right click on the sell. If you're trading spot, you're gonna go with the buy and just leave it once per bar close so that it'll keep going off. This will probably go on and on, off a couple times over the next week. Direction change would be my approach on this. And if I got a short pretty close to resistance, or at least no more than halfway between resistance and support, I'd take that. And then same way on the long side. That's long-term sentiment, and go with handbell. And I'm good to go on this one. So yeah, this will go off for each buy and sell, and then I'll look at support and resistance. Maybe look at Annie's ribbon as well, and make a decision if I want to take that as a swing trade. Any questions on Rune? All right, well, let's see. All right, Eve is asking, is there a tutorial on how to pull up the indicators you're showing, how to interpret it? Yes, if you are on my email list, on Mondays, I send a link to a video that goes over my approach to this Zoom call, And then in the description of that video are links to other videos that go into more detail about how to set up the charts and better ideas on, or more in depth about how I use the indicators to make trading decisions. To watch all the videos probably take about an hour. So hope that helps. And if you don't find it in the emails I send, and Google's been kind of annoying about what they're allowing me to send through my email program, then just email me at cryptocj13@gmail.com, and I'll track it down for you and send it to you. Okay. That's about all I have. Any questions about the markets overall or anything else you want to look at before we wrap it up? All right. Thumbs up from Eve. Good to have you aboard. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good weekend.